So, hi everyone. So today we're going to talk about Sean Atwood. If you're not familiar with him, he's a British guy that actually came to America and sold ecstasy in Arizona around the same time that Sammy the Bull did. And recently he put a defamation strike against Mob Rats Exposed. Now, was this defamation strike justified? So I took a little look at it. I knew about Sean from way back when. I'd heard about him a long time ago. And in the 80s, he sold a lot of ecstasy and made a lot of money. Back then, when you used to go to the nightclubs or whatever, you would have to, you'd have to dress in a certain way. Not women so much, but the guys, they would look at what you were wearing. You would have to wear a suit, tie, look clean, or they weren't going to let you in. And I guess people got fed up with that. They want to wear jeans and T-shirts and whatever. So what would happen is they would take over warehouses, houses that were run down or whatever, and hold these parties. They were called raves. And at these parties, ecstasy would be everywhere. People would dance from morning till night. And so Sean kind of got into it in that way. Now, he was educated. He went to university. He did business studies. So he's not a dumb guy at all. And he saw a way to make money. Now, the American connection came in because I believe he had an aunt or relatives here in Arizona. And he used to come and visit. So that's what happened. And then after he made some money, he decided to come to America and stay here. Well, he came to visit and never left. So he was actually an illegal alien at the time. But, he made something out of it. Anyway, this is Sean. So let's take a look at Sean. This is Sean Atwood. And also, this is Sean Atwood. And this is Sean Atwood. So what are we talking about here? I took a closer look at this guy, and I knew about him. And my first real kind of looking at him was James English. He issued a warning to him, stop talking shit about him. He was going to do a show about him every week if necessary. And Chancellor has been studying Sean Atwood for some time. So what happened is a big scandal broke in England called Daddygate. And I'll get to that in a minute. But let me tell you a little bit about Sean before we get to Daddygate. So this is Sean. And this is more the image, that he likes to portray. He was a partier. He's intelligent, clearly. Not so much here, I wouldn't say. Anyway, so what happened is he came to America. He went to Arizona, and he was an illegal alien. So he started with a stockbroker firm, bit of a dodgy one. He was making money for them, and then he decided to do it himself. He decided to go into business for himself, and he was doing pretty well. How he got away with not paying taxes, I don't know. I'll have to ask him that. But he got away with it however way. And then he got into the ecstasy thing again here in America. And it was around the same time as Sammy the Bull got into the ecstasy thing. And it did cross my mind. I wonder if he had any run-ins with Sammy, because it was around the same time, you know, that all this was taking place. Anyway, so he had this, he ran it like a corporation. He was making millions of dollars. At one point, they called in the Bank of England. That's how much money he was making. And he was asked about Sammy the Bull because, of course, they were doing it around the same time. And what he said was, Sammy says he didn't know him at all. He had no dealings with him. And what Sean actually said, he said the same thing. He didn't have any direct dealings with Sammy the Bull. But what happened is one of his top salesmen, Sean's top salesman, was trying to sell some ecstasy. I don't know if it's a restaurant or a club. And he was lured into the bathroom to do the exchange. And he ended up getting his teeth knocked out and the shit beaten out of him. And it was after that that Sean, you know, he's not a fighter like that. You know, he's not that type of guy. He moved to Tucson, Arizona. And essentially, I guess his wife had fooled around on him with somebody over here, and he was on his own. He ended up in a mansion, basically, in Tucson, Arizona, on his own. And then he met somebody else. He's been married 3 times, so he met somebody else and, you know, got out of the ecstasy thing. And the reason he got out of it is because Sammy the Bull was taken down at that time. Several others. He was somehow connected with the New Mexican Mafia. They were protecting him, according to him. And he got out of it, actually. He started back to stockbroking, was living legit for about a year or two. And then essentially he was ratted on. 10 people ratted on him. And they came and arrested him. Boom. You know, he went to prison here. I think he got 7 years or 6 or 7 years. He did 2 years on remand in Arizona. He was in that famous jail where that sheriff, you know, he has all kinds of crazy notions. I forget his name now. Yeah, I forget his name. But anyway, he was in there for like 2 years and then went to prison. And then when he did his time, he was deported back to England. So when he gets back to England, he essentially reinvents himself. He does a YouTube. I knew him for interviewing English gangsters. He must have interviewed everybody at some point. He's kind of like, in fact, he was on Vlad. Vlad interviewed him. But he was like the British version of Vlad. Sorry. And so he interviewed a lot of British gangsters. He did a lot of, you know, really high-profile interviews, and it seemed to take off. He had 1 million subscribers. I mean, he was doing quite well for himself. And then for some weirdo reason, he got involved in trafficking, human trafficking, you know, young girls, that type of thing. And that's where Cali comes in. Now, the strike against MRE for defamation was, I guess, MRE reporting this Daddygate thing. It was a big scandal, actually, that broke in England that Sean Atwood is really trying to keep under wraps. He doesn't want to really to get to the mainstream media because it would be the end for him, literally. And so he's been doing kind of damage control tours here and there. Chancer, he did strikes against him, so he's not able to show the videos in question. I've seen those videos, and they're pretty questionable. I mean, oh my God, I don't know what the hell this man is thinking. But anyway, so I don't know what MRE did exactly. I don't know if he showed one of his videos or whatever, or had an opinion. Who knows? But he did a strike against MRE. And like I said on a previous show, you know, England treats these things very differently. You know, racism, sexism, filthy talk, defamation. They treat it very differently, and they're more what is the word? Strict with it. And so when they ban you, nobody can see you. It's that type of thing. So, and it's different here, which is why certain things maybe need to be addressed over there. Anyway, so Cali now is supposedly a sex trafficked victim. So this is Cali. Now, Cali is supposed to be a sex trafficked victim. She's been drugged, she's been raped, she's had all these things going on. She's supposed to be autistic. And essentially what Sean did, he did a video, a couple of videos. Now, this is the video. So I can't show the video, but basically what it is Cali dressed as a schoolgirl doing like weirdo shit. She's on her knees, unzipping his flies. She masturbates at one point and he's filming it. Just weirdo, creeped out shit. And so these videos got into the hands of a troll that apparently Sean sent to these trolls. I mean, I'm not sure why he sent them, but he did. And it's just really, really weird. Now, so these videos were put out and people started questioning, because what had happened is Sean had decided to align himself with, you know, charitable groups that are helping victims, people that are abused, you know, that type of thing. It's just really, really a strange thing. And then he does this video with a trafficking victim in his apartment. It makes absolutely no sense, doing all kinds of unspeakable acts. Anyway, this is Sean when he was in Arizona jail. You see he's got the stripes on. I forget the name of that. He's a controversial sheriff that believes in, you know, chain gangs and all kinds of shit. I forget his name now. But anyway, this is Sean. And so this is also another picture of him and Cali. Now, this is the abuse victim, the person he's supposed to be protecting. I don't know. Anyway, Sean he's written books. He's done a lot of stuff. You know, he's been in all the newspapers. This is his American jail horror that he went through. You know, he goes into all of that. It's just really, really strange, the whole thing. So you have to look at it and think, I don't know, you know, there's something really off with this picture. Now, Sean, he's very accomplished. He's written books about when he was in America, the shit that he did. There's party time, there's hard time, there's prison time. You know, he was doing real well. His books are interesting. And so, you know, I believe they're on Amazon and you can get them anywhere. Anyway, so James English, essentially, and Chancellor feel that the whole thing is a scam. Now, why they feel it's a scam is because turns out Cali may not be autistic after all. Sean insists that she has Asperger's, which is a form of autism. And as a lot of us know, you know, usually people with Asperger's, they're really good at one thing. Like they could be really good at math, they could be good at art, writing, whatever it is. But they also have, you know, the other side of autism where, you know, they have OCD, you know, they have to be in a certain environment. But people are not believing Sean at this point, or Cali. And the reason they're not believing Cali, you know, I had to take a closer look at Cali because none of this was really making sense to me. And what had happened, we have a guy in England, Darren G, he's a gangster. He called out Sean first. Now, Cali goes by the name Diamond. Now, she says this is the name that the drug traffickers gave her, and they held her down, they raped her, they did all this shit. But if you look up Cali, she's an active escort, if you will. You know, her name is Cali Diamond. She's still using that name, even though she says that, you know, the traffickers gave her that name. Apparently, Sean needed 10 grand real quick, so he got her online to kind of, you know, do a GoFundMe. I think he got £45, which is about $70, $50, $60, I'm sorry, if that. And then he did another one where he got £5,000, which is close to 7 grand. It's $7. It's $7,000. I'm sorry. And you know, with her telling her story, and when you look Cali up in England, she actually charges $1,200 a night. Not $1,200. I'm sorry, £1,200. Which in dollars would be about $1,600 per night. And she won't take less than that. I have a video where a guy went undercover and called her up and basically went and spent the night with her, or not the night, but an hour. And but unfortunately, I can't put that video up. But apparently, so how autistic is Cali? It just doesn't make sense. Her name's Cali Diamond, and beneath all this facade, you know, she says she was, her child is being threatened. The child is being threatened through her PlayStation, which is crazy to me. She's recently been charged with dealing cocaine, 5 kilos. How autistic is Cali? You know, that's my question. Sean sounds very, very dodgy. These videos apparently are very explicit and nasty. Cali also has weird alien sightings. She's had really weird sexual encounters that she talks about openly. You know, she's been drugged, she's been trafficked, and all this type of stuff. And Sean is the advocate of abuse. And then they did a show recently where Cali was trying to tell her story, and Sean told her to stop talking about it, you know, because the guy that was actually trafficking her, he had an interview with, which absolutely makes no sense to me. You know, he knows who the traffickers are, but he refused to expose it. He refuses to expose them. It makes absolutely no sense. So in answer to the question, was MRE's defamation strike justified? No, it wasn't. Basically, Mr. Atwood here this is him, has a lot going on, way more going on than what he wants to put out there. This is him again in his, he put them in prison garb. He's been all over the newspapers because he goes to the schools and says all this crap, Ultimately, the general public think this is a scam. They don't think there's anything wrong with Cali. I don't know if there is or isn't. I'm not in England. I don't know. But basically, nobody believes there's anything wrong with Cali. She's an active prostitute, according to the newspapers, and to, allegedly she's an active prostitute. She goes under the name Cali Diamond. She's charging, £1,200 a night, which would, be about $1,500, $1,600. She won't take less than that. So how crazy is she? It was only when the Chancellor started going after Sean that, Sean's basically trying to shut everything down. And, that's what's going on. So, is this defamation thing, justified? Absolutely not. In fact, I'm shocked that they did this in England, that they've taken his word for it, because if all the newspapers, he's trying to keep it down. It's not out there yet. Certain newspapers have picked it up. Chancellor's like a dog with a bone. He's not letting it go. And, now, English has got in on it. So it's probably going to get a little bigger. And then he went on, he does a show with Sonia. She's an advocate also for child abuse and stuff. And from what I understand now, what happened with that show was they wanted, the company wanted Sean to go on with her because they were co-hosts, and for her to question him. And they said, let's put a lid on it. Let's, say your piece and whatever, And as soon as he did that, apparently they fired him. So he's no longer working with Sonia. And mainly that's why, because he admitted to, being inappropriate. He admitted to it. And so I don't understand how you can get a defamation strike when you've admitted what you did was wrong. It makes no sense. And Sean, I don't know what the hell you were thinking. It's going to be out there. Daddygate is really out there now. It's here in America now. It came to America. So some people aren't going to let it go. It's going to be out there. These tours you're doing with different shows, trying to explain yourself, I would stop doing that, because you're digging a hole deeper. You're admitting to it. And so there you go. Anyway, I just thought I would throw my 2 cents in on that. When I saw that, I'm like, wait a minute. I've known about Sean Atwood a while, and as far as I knew, he was like Vlad. But, again, with a lot of these predators, and I'm not saying he's a predator or not a predator, but we had a guy in England, Sir Jimmy Savile, actually. He was knighted, and he did a lot for kids. He did he was at every hospital, cancer hospital. Turns out he was fiddling with them the whole time. Finally one kid spoke up, and a lot of kids spoke up. But this thing with Sean, if Cali is autistic or whatever, why are you filming sexual shit with her? And you're supposed to be an advocate. On the flip side of that, allegedly, there's nothing wrong with Cali, and this is just all a scam. So, Sean, maybe you might want to clear that up, especially for here in America, because I know you have a large viewing, or did. I know your channel was taken down. I know you went to Google and in London, and had it reinstated and they took it down again. It is a pain in the ass. But if what you're saying is true, then you need to clarify. Because from what I'm hearing so far, Sean, it sounds very dodgy to me. Anyway, so there you have it. That's me for now. See you later.